in percentage problems, there are always three things which are involved, and these are the percentage, the rate, and the base. So what if we are given the rate and the percentage, and it is the base which is the one which is missing? So this is the one that we will be discussing now. So here you have solving percentage problems. So we will be following the same thing when we had the solving percentage problems. We need to be able to identify the three components. So which of the given is the rate, the base, or the percentage. And by making use of the P is equivalent to R times P, we will be trying to derive how we could possibly find for the base. So in one of the videos I made, I already showed you already the way on how you could find for the percentage. That's just simply multiplying the rate and the base. So for now, suppose it's the base which is missing. So what are we going to do? I will just interchange these two so that if I will have the rate multiplied by the base, that is equivalent to the percentage. So we did not do anything with the equation. We just have to interchange their places. Okay, now if you are going to notice, what we want is to find for the base. Therefore, I will just divide both sides by the letter R, or the rate. So that if I will be dividing the rate with, or the rate with the rate, you will notice R divided by R. If you divide two numbers which are the same, like 10 over 10, 5 over 5, 7 over 7, or even a million with a million, the answer that you will be getting there is already 1. And when you multiply 1 multiplied by any number, of course, that will result to the number. So in this case, 1 times the B is equal to P. Therefore, the formula that you will be arriving at is the B is equal to the percentage all over the rate. Okay, so again, this is now the formula for finding the base. We simply just divide the percentage divided by the rate. So let's look into some problems, and we will try to solve using that derived formula. 1,700 dentists attending a convention last month prefer fluoride treatments for preschoolers. That's 4 out of every 5 dentists. How many dentists attended in all? So you will notice here that the 1,700 represents the 4 out of 5 every out, or 4 out of every 5 dentists, which simply means that the 4 over 5 here represents the ratio. So it is given in terms of a ratio, which could also be changed into a percent sign. And if you do that, 4 over 5, so when you divide that 4 over 5, we simply have 4 out of 5. Changing now your fraction to your percent or to decimal, this will now become 0.8. So that means you have 5 times 4, or 8 times 5 is equivalent to 40. That will result to 0.8 now. Okay, so that means this 0.8 is the same as, okay, in decimal it is 0.8, or in percent that is 80%. So that simply means that 80% of the total dentists want the fluoride treatments, and that 80% is represented by the 1,700 dentists. So how many? The question here is how many dentists attended in all? Okay, so going back to our formula, which states that the base now can be obtained by dividing our percentage, which is considered now are the 1,700, and we are going to divide that by either 4/5 or the 80% or the 0.8. So any of this is possible. So but now I will be just using the 4 all over 5. Okay, because this is simpler. So from there, 1,700, again, the fraction bar that you have here is considered as division. So 1,700 divided by 4 over 5. And again, we use now your KFC, which is skip, flip, and change the operation to multiplication. So we are now going to do that, 1,700. Then you have to get the reciprocal of the 4/5. So that will now turn into 5 over 4. And changing now the operation to multiplication. Okay, and for us not to be confused, we just put 1,700 there all over 1. So that is how we are going to deal with this problem. So when you have this, again, by the cancellation process, when you divide 1,700 by 4, you can also solve that using your long division process. 1,700 divided by 4, so that you can cancel. So the answer that we will be getting there is 4. 4 times 4 is equivalent to 16. And then you can have there 1. Bring down 0. There you have 2, because there are 2 4 in 10, and then multiplying 2 and 4, we have an 8, and subtract now 10 minus 2, 8 is equal to 2, bring down another 0, then you have 5, and 5 times 4 is equivalent to 20. So the division is exact, it's 425, which simply means that this 1,700 now will be changed to 425, and the 4 will now be cancelled and be changed to 1. So we can now get the answer by simply multiplying our 425 by 5. So we will now multiply 425, multiply that by 5, and we will be getting, so 525 actually for the 5 times 5. And then you have to regroup the 2 times 5 is 10 plus 2 is 12. And you will be having a regrouping of 1 also. 4 times 5 is 20 plus the 1 is 21. So the answer that you will be getting here is 2,125. Okay? So that simply means that if you are going to analyze now the problem, out of, or there are actually a total of 2,125 dentists. Okay, so 2,125 dentists came, and 4 out of every 5 dentists. So there are 1,700 out of the total of 2,125 who prefer the fluoride treatments for the preschoolers. Okay, so again, that is finding for the base. Let's have another example. Okay, here 80% or 560 of our current clients take advantage of our cash discount program for prompt payment. What is our current client base? So again, the 80% or the 560 is already the 80% of the missing base. Okay, so this will just mean that how are we going to figure out the base? Again, you will be dividing the percentage, which is in this problem 560, and we are going to divide that by 80%. Okay, so how are we going to do it? Again, we can change that to 560, and we can divide you change the fraction bar into division sign, and then we will now have the 80%, and the 80% could be changed to either the decimal or a fraction. So if you want to change that into decimal, it's also okay. Like if you have 560, you can just divide that by what is 80% in decimal. It is equivalent to 0.8. Okay? And if you are going to divide, don't forget your lesson in division by decimal numbers. There you have 560, and then you have 0.8. And there is a need for us to change your 8 tenths to a whole number. So we have to move the decimal point one place to the right, and we need to do that also in the dividend, making this 560 now into 5,600. Okay, and dividing 5,600 by 8, we will now get, we have a 7 here. 7 times 8 is 56. And then, okay, there will just be 2 zeros at the end. So we will just end or write the 2 zeros, making it now equal to 700. So that is making use of your decimal. Now, if you prefer to do that in fraction, it's also okay. What are you going to do? We will just get the 560, and then again, you divide that by 80% is 80 over 100. Okay, and doing now your KFC, keep, and then after keeping, you have to keep the 560, and you need to flip, meaning you have to get the reciprocal of 80 over 100, making that 100 over 80, and changing the operation now to multiplication. So we will now follow that. And for this 560 to be clearer, you just have to put the 560 over 1. And from there, you can now cancel the, actually you can cancel the 560 here with the 80. So 560 by 80, you can now have 7. Okay, and then the 80 will just be simply 1. So 7 times 100 will also give you an answer which is equal to 700. So we will be getting the same answer whether you change it into a or to decimal or to percent. It's just up to you which is easier. Okay, again, it's just simply B is equal to the percentage divided by the rate. So let's have more examples, but this time simple expressions like 35 is 20% of what number? Again, 35 is 20% of what number? So you know here that the 35 refers to the percentage, the 20% is the rate. So using now your formula, the B is equal to, again, you have 35 divided by, I will just use the division right away, divided by the 20%. Okay, and from there, what will we have? We will just have 35, and then we directly change this now to the operation of multiplication. And 20%, remember the 20% is 20 over 100. 20 over 100. So getting the reciprocal of 20 over 100, that is now changed to 100 over 20. Okay, so from there, you can now have the cancellation process. Actually, you can cancel the 35 with the 20, but I would prefer canceling this, the 100 and the 20, because these are divisible. So having 100 divided by 20, the answer that you will be getting is 5. And multiplying now, 5 times 35, there you have 25, carry 2, and then 3 times 5 is 15 plus the 2 that was regrouped a while ago. So we have 175. Okay, which means that 20% of 175 is equivalent to 35. Okay, so that is how you solve this kinds of problem. Another example, 18, 18% of what number is 150? Again, 18% of what number is 150? So again, this will be base is equivalent to 150. This will serve as the percentage, and your rate is 18%. So you just divide that 18%. So we have divided by 18% or 18 over 100. So again, 150, we will be divided by 18%. So this time I will make this 18% into decimal. So I will change that to 0.18. Okay, so we will have the division by the decimal number. So if I will be given 150 divided by 0.18, what do we do? There is a need for us to make this into a whole number. So you move the decimal point 2 places, making that now 18, while the 150 becomes now 15,000 because there is a need for you to append 2 zeros. Okay, so you divide now what is 150 divided by 18. So how many groups uh of of 18 do we have there? We can have 8, simply 8. So there will be 8, and if you are going to multiply that, you will be getting, okay, 8 times 8 is 64. So 64, you have to add here 8 and 6. After multiplying, 8 plus 6 is equivalent to 144. And then you subtract 150 minus 144. There is an answer which is 6. So we have now 60 divided by 18. What is the answer that you will be getting? There will be 3. 3, then you have 3 times 18, so that is again giving you an answer which is 24 carried 2, so 54. Okay, and then if you are going to subtract, there again you have 6, so another 3 is expected, so we have another 3, and then 3 times 18, again that becomes now another 54. So as you notice, this is infinite. There is always a remainder of 6 after dividing. So therefore, we better stop. That will simply means, or that would simply mean that you have 833. So 833, and there is actually a 6 here which is a, a remainder. Therefore, we just have to copy the 6 and then the 18 as your denominator. And of course, we need to get the lowest term of this, and the answer that you will be getting is 833. And the 6 over 18, when reduced to lowest term, you can divide this by 6. So 6 divided by 6 is 1. 18 divided by 6 is 3. So 833 and 1/3. So this is a scenario wherein the answer that you obtain is a mixed number. So do not expect to get a whole number all the time. So there is a possibility to have a certain answer which is a decimal or a fraction. So for this, the answer that you have is 833 and 1/3. Again, you remember that part where you have to divide the percentage divided by the rate in order for you to find for the base.